Okay, so we are starting with activity 1 and we're matching root words and affixes. So the root words and affixes are on the left and the meanings are on the right. So are there any that people know the meanings of first of all? So which ones can we start with? What about re? Can anyone tell me the meaning of re? Can you put it in the chat box for me, please? What does re mean? To do again. It doesn't actually mean to do again, although we often think of it like that. It means back. Yes, quite a few of you have told me now. So re means back. We often use it as in like redo, but it's coming from the meaning back, as in you go back and then you do it again. So you can reverse in a card. You need help to remember what re means. Reverse, you go back. If you regress, regress is the opposite of another word that you will know that ends with gress as well. What words do you know that end with gress? What have we got here? Anyone know a word that ends with gress? Progress. Yes, Olivia, well done. And Robert there too. So progress, you know what that means. What do you think regress will mean if you are regressing? Re means back, and you know what progress means. So what will regress mean? To go back, yeah, I'll go, you put decreasing. Yes, so in what way are you decreasing, do you think? So yeah, Tyra, not progressing. So it's not just that you're not progressing, because if you think progressing, you're going forwards. Rather than just not progressing, then you're going backwards. Yes, so to decrease and progress, yes as well. Okay, start the answers for me now. So to regress means you're actually getting worse. So what can happen sometimes over the summer holidays in particular is that you take that break and then you forget some of the work that you've done, and so you start to regress, you go backwards. So progress is what we want, or at least just to stay in the same position. Okay, so re goes with back. So can you match those up on your sheet, please, your activity sheets? Next, which other ones will you know? Actually, we've got pro there. Speaking of progress, what do we think pro goes with? Have a look at your options on the right-hand side of the sheet, see what it could match with. What could pro mean? Regress is to get worse, progress, so regress is to go back. Progress, you're going, yes, Romit, forward. And Harry, you've got that there as well. Yep, cool. So pro goes with forward. Match those up, please. Guys, once I've given the answer, remember not to keep typing in the chat because I won't have a look at it. All right. Yep, Maisha, you've got, so we've got vacat there, and you put empty. You are absolutely right. Vacat means empty. Can anyone think of any words that start with vacat or vac something else? The American word for, yes, so Temi, you've got there, sorry, vacant, yep, exactly. And Olivia, you've got vacation. So vacant means that something is empty. What would a vacation have to do with the word empty, do you think? So vacation is usually the American term for like going on holiday. So what would a vacation have to do with something being empty? To go away from your house, yeah, an empty house, exactly, well done. So if you have left your house empty, then you're going on vacation and you have vacated the area. Sometimes you will hear in instructions like there are instructions for a fire or something, you may be asked to vacate the building. So leave the building empty. So we've got vacat means empty, re means back, and pro means forward. What about vis? Does anyone know what the prefix vis means? To see, yes, Isla. Good, so vis goes with to see. Can you think of any words with vis in them? Visible is well good. Oh, they're coming up so fast. Visited, someone put there. Yes, so to visit someone, you go and see them. What about a word with vis in the middle? Something vis something. It's something that I think you probably all have in your house. Invisible, got improvise there. Improvise, don't think will work. Although maybe the vise, yeah, people are looking at you. Yes, okay, television, Tanya. So television, that's to do with seeing something, and the telly part means far away. So television allows you to see something that came from far away. And Mark, you've got visor there. Yeah, that covers protect your vision. High vis jacket. Yep, and so on. So high vis, it's very visible. Good. All right, and invisible. Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned that. So, okay, so we've done vis is to see. What about potent? Or maybe we should leave that one to the end because it is a hard one. Can anyone guess what potent is? Yeah, Tanya, you've got it. Power. Potent goes with power. Okay, so put potent with power. We'll be discussing that word more a little later. And tain. What if something, so we know some tain words, contain. That's probably the one that most of you would know. So to contain, certain, I am not sure whether that relates to this root word actually, but it wouldn't hurt to check. Maintain, good. Sustain, oh, well done. Detain, yep. So what suffix do you think, or what do you think that suffix means once we've kept all of those words in mind? I think contain is probably your biggest clue there. So what does tain mean? To hold, good, Erica. So tain means to hold. So if it contains something, then it's holding it. Okay, so potent, power. Vacat, empty. Vis is to see. Tain is to hold. Re is back. And D. D can actually have a couple of meanings. I didn't write all of them here. So D, the prefix D goes with, does anyone know? So yes, Olivia, away. So D goes with away. Okay. It can also mean down. Yep, Erica is in decrease or descend, you're going down. Seed. Anyone know what seed means? That root there. Go, yes, well done. So if you, often actually when we have a word that has seed in it, we often spell it C-E-E-D, but it means the same thing. So you could have exceed. X means out. So if you exceed expectations, you go out of people's expectations. Yes, and sometime you can have proceed, but it's spelt double E-D for proceed. So seed meant to go, pro meant forward. So what does proceed mean? If you are proceeding with your work, what would proceed mean? Ooh, gone quiet. To go, it's not to go away. Yes, so to go ahead. Huey, so that was the first one I saw that was correct there. So to proceed is to go ahead, to go forwards, to carry on. Good. Farah, you've got the to carry on there as well. Right, let's go to our first quiz. And can you turn over your pieces of paper where you've got the meanings of the root words on there? Turn that over and then see if you can complete the quiz and match up the root words and suffixes. So the same ones that we've just done in that on that sheet, sorry. Okay, so go on WooClap and go to that first quiz, which should be visible now. Okay, so if you intercede, does anyone know the meaning of inter? So we're just going to go through a couple more seed words while we're waiting for people to do the quizzes. Inter, good on Dina, between, yes. So inter means between. So if you intercede, you go between two people. So you're getting involved, you might try and solve an issue by getting between two people. Good. And someone put recede as well. That was a good one. If you have, so re meant back, remember, and cede means go. So if you recede, or if something is receding, sometimes with men, they're not usually very happy about this, they get a receding hairline. Do you know what that means if they have a receding hairline? Yeah, so what does it mean? It's when they're starting to go, Yeah, when your hair falls off. So it's when someone's starting to go bald. Yes, Tamer. So they may have a receding hairline, it's going back, and then eventually there just won't be much hair left. So that's not usually a good thing for people. Okay, let's go on to the next activity now. I think pretty much everyone's got their answers in there. Guys, don't forget to put your names in the quizzes because we don't know who they are. Okay, activity 2, we have potential. So potent meant power. Just change our slides here. Potent meant power. What do you think potential means? Full power, you're along the right line. So yes, Emily, ability to succeed would probably be the most succinct definition there. So to have power, someone's put capacity to succeed, which is very good. So when you have potential, it means you are able to do something in future, so you're able to succeed. Sometimes though, you may hear someone say that someone is not living up to their potential. So perhaps they're not doing everything that they are capable of doing, perhaps because they're not working hard or something, or they haven't had the right kind of help. So we usually will want people to live up to their full potential. So can you write down the meaning of potential? Having the ability to do something in future. If you use the word capacity, or if you knew what that meant, then you're welcome to write that down. So you can say having the capacity to do something, or having the ability to do something in future. So potent is meaning very strong, having great power or influence. Okay, make sure you're writing that down. Okay, we got that? Okay, so potent, having very strong, having great power or influence. What is the meaning of vacant? So we've talked about this already. Yes, free, empty. So let's just put empty for vacant. So I checked to see whether the toilet was vacant or occupied. So on some toilets, you will see when someone turns their little knob, you will see it say vacant or occupied, which is, occupied means busy, so it means someone's in there. Okay, yeah, okay, so make sure you've written down vacant means empty. All right, oh, sorry, this slide is missing one word. So can we talk about era next? So the death of Mufasa marked the end of an era. Good, a period of time. Putting these definitions into words very well, kids, you're expressing yourselves well. Yes, so can you write down era is a specific period of time. Era, a specific period of time. Make sure you've got it written down, guys. Okay, era, a specific period of time. Okay, all right, guys, don't need to tell me when you're done, we'll move on. Okay, dispute. Does anyone know what a dispute is? Good, a disagreement or an argument, perfect. A disagreement or argument. Can you write that down, please? Make sure you've got that written down. Okay, could be a serious conversation. So it's a serious conversation, but usually you're disagreeing with each other. So rather than just having a serious conversation about anything, you're on two different sides in a dispute. Okay, what is the meaning of span? So the distance of or length of something. Sometimes we talk about span in what kind of sense? Lifespan, good time, I hadn't thought of that actually. I was thinking more about on your body, you might talk about some kind of span, you might measure it. Oh, wingspan on Dino, yes, so for a bird, you might measure the wingspan and you might measure your hand span as well, from one side to the other. So wingspan on a bird, it's just from one side to the other. So make sure you've got span written down, it's the distance or length of something. Span, the distance or length of something. Okay. I'm not sure about head span or pencil span. I think more lifespan, hand span, that kind of thing. Okay. And there we are, we're at the end of that sheet. So on your sheets, you should be able to see, match the words below to their synonyms. Just fill in the words at the bottom of your sheet, and then I'll tell you the answers at the end. So match the words to their synonyms. Okay, all right, go ahead. So match those words. So we have period, potent, ability, unoccupied, and quarrel. No, don't worry about doing it on the quiz, Ondina. So just at the bottom of your sheet. So the sheet that looks like this, I don't know if you can see that. So at the bottom, match the words below to their synonyms, and I'll tell you the answers. Okay, let's talk about it. So period. A period is also known as what? An era, good. So a period in time, an era. Potent, now be careful with this that you don't mix it up with potential. Potent goes with powerful, good. Potent and powerful. Ability. Okay, ability, potential. Yes, so ability goes with potential. Make sure you're writing down the correct answers, by the way. We don't want you to have the wrong answers on your worksheets. And unoccupied, vacant, good. If you're not sure, by the way, where the, which part of the sheet you're on, can you just send a message to Kai if you're not sure what to do? And actually, if you're not too sure, then you can just write down these words from the board. Doesn't really matter if they're on the right part of your sheet. Okay, a quarrel. So a quarrel is an argument. So yep, good guys, it would go with dispute. Good. All right, let's turn the page and look at the words that include tain. So what did tain mean again? We did this at the beginning. Tain, like contain, it meant to, what? To hold, good. So tain means to hold. If you retain something, what does that mean? So re meant back, tain meant hold. Good, Emily, it is to keep hold of something. So if you retain, so rather than keeping it like back, but not with you, but you're holding it back so no one can take it. You can think of it that way if you need a word to remember, a way to remember the word. So to retain is to keep hold of something. Okay, retain is to keep hold of something. Okay, by the way, has anyone ever heard of a retainer? Sometimes when people have had braces, they need a retainer. I have some pictures here. This is what comes up when you Google retainer. So what do you think a retainer does? If retain is to keep hold of something, yeah, it's to hold your teeth. It's rather than being just to hold your teeth generally, it's to hold your teeth in place after you've had braces. So they keep it there. Just as you would keep something if you retain it, a retainer keeps your teeth in place. So that might be another way of helping you to remember it. Okay, I've lost my slide. Here we are. Okay, so retain is to keep hold of something. What is the meaning of detain? Detain, so D meant what? Can you remember? D meant, no one's got it right so far. Away, thank you, Tamer. So D means away. To detain, you're holding someone away from where they want to go. So it means to delay them or to keep someone from progressing. So can you write those down, please? Okay, good. Well done, Evie. So you write delay. So detain is to delay, to keep someone from progressing. Make sure you've got that written down. To keep someone from progressing, to detain. Okay, and make sure you've got retain down if you missed it before. You okay? All right. Sustain. So our clues here, the beginning of the word means sub, which means from below. And if you have a big breakfast like porridge, you might use it to sustain you. So Martha, yes, sustain, one meaning is kind of endure, to suffer from something. So if you sustain an injury, it's not to push down actually, Ansel, because remember, so sub means from below and tain means hold. So rather than push down, it's to hold up from below. So to keep up, yep. I have a little image to show you that might help. So sustain, that girl is being sustained there. So held up. So you can write down, sustain is to support or to hold up something from below. Okay, to support or hold up something from below. To keep, and it can also mean to keep going. So if you have renewable energy sources, for example, or they're sustainable, so you can keep going with that type of energy rather than running out of it at some point. So often people want sustainable materials, materials that you can use and then they'll regrow in a short amount of time so you can keep going with it. Someone may say that something is not sustainable, as in a situation is not sustainable. So for example, if you're exhausted, if you're doing lots and lots of work and it's exhausting you, you can do it for a short period, but it's not sustainable. You can't keep doing it. Okay. So you've missed out maintain there. Okay, guys, have you got those written down? Do you need a second? Okay. So if you haven't got it written down, make sure you're getting it from the board. They're all up on the board to copy. So maintain. If you maintain something, what does that mean? It's not necessarily to beautify, because beautify, you're making something more beautiful. But maintain is, yes, everyone, more like to keep something in that condition. To preserve is a good word for it as well. Okay, so for maintain, could you please write down, write it on the board for you as well, to keep something in good condition. So to keep something in good condition, to continue also. Obtain, so the Yeezy trainers are in high demand, so they are difficult to obtain. What does that mean? Good, to come into possession of, to possess, to get. Yes, acquire would also be a synonym there. So can you write down obtain means to get or to acquire? So to hold, to get a hold of. Remember, tain means hold, so that helps you to decode some of these words if you don't know the meaning. Okay, tenacious. This one, I would imagine, is quite a tough one. It's not adventurous. To hold tightly, yes. I think that's probably as close as we're going to get. So we might describe someone as tenacious. So in that video, the Lion King video, Scar describes himself as tenacious. So he is keeping hold of the idea that he will be king. So tenacious means to keep a firm hold of something. So it can be to keep a firm hold of an idea, a thought, a dream, or just physically to be keeping a firm hold of something as well. So can you write that definition down on your sheets, please? I wouldn't say the child is very tenacious towards her mother as an example sentence, because you're not really tenacious towards something. You're tenacious about more of an idea or an object, yeah? By the way, synonyms there. Can anyone think of a synonym? If you're tenacious, you're keeping hold of an idea and you're not giving it up, what would be a synonym of that? Sticky is not the best synonym. Single-minded was good, Erica. Moffe, determined, yep. I was thinking of another word beginning with P, which everyone seems to mention these days. So determined would be one that you could write down. Passionate, I was thinking, who's got it there? Isabel, yes, so the spelling's not right, but the word is. So persevere. If you're tenacious, you persevere. No, so persevering would be the better synonym for that, if you're writing it down, because persevere is the verb. Okay, and then the last one on this sheet, so untenable. So think about ten being hold, so ten and tain both mean hold. Dogged, by the way, Undine, was a good word for the last one. So untenable, I think 10 means hold. I'm trying to get it to show here and I'm having a bit of trouble. There we go, oops. So untenable, you can't keep hold of it any longer. Okay. So unable to hold on, good. So a situation may become untenable. You can't keep it going any longer, it can't continue. And also, if you have an argument that's not a very strong argument, like you're not making good points, then your argument is untenable. You can't continue to hold on to these ideas. They don't make sense. So untenable, can you write impossible to defend or keep going? Impossible to defend or keep going. Okay, not a one-sided argument, Anselm, more just not a good argument. If you say, oh, I shouldn't have to go to school today because it's raining, it's not a good argument. You're not making sound points there. So untenable means impossible to defend or keep going. You can finish writing those definitions down. I'll leave them on the board. If you have finished, then please go to activity 4, which I've just made available, tain words. So match up those tain words with their definitions, please. So we're just coming up with some sentences that use the word maintenance. The computer was under maintenance, yeah. Sometimes you see websites are down and they say that they're down because they need to do some maintenance. Good maintenance at the 5-star hotel, yeah. It was high maintenance to preserve the pool, good. That would be high maintenance. In a hotel, you can also, or in apartments, you can usually call maintenance as well. So there might be someone like a caretaker that will come and repair anything that is wrong in your house. Catherine says, my brother is very high maintenance. That is a correct sentence using maintenance. Yes, well done. Okay, what about detain? Can you come up with a sentence using detain, please? Okay. Okay, so detain now. Still getting some maintenance sentences coming through. So what would detain, what sentence would have detain in it? What could you hold back? Annabelle, you said detain the bomb. It would be diffuse the bomb, I think would be the most appropriate word there. The flight was detained. I wouldn't say the flight was detained because usually a flight isn't held back by someone. It would just be delayed perhaps due to the weather. However, if you are detained at the airport, then you might miss your flight. So sometimes people are detained at the airport if the security guards are suspicious of them. They think maybe they're carrying something they shouldn't be carrying, and so they get detained. So I tried to detain him, yet that would work. I detained my brother by sitting on him. Yes, Captain, your brother sounds like a handful. He detained the student from passing the exam. I wouldn't say he detained the student from passing the exam, because you're not really delayed from passing an exam. But it's more about holding someone back. Yep, I'm detaining Evie from doing good work. Yeah, so it kind of works. Okay, and what about, oh, by the way, you missed perhaps the most common use of detain is when you are detained at school. And a few of my pupils have spoken about this recently. What's it called when you are detained at school? It is called a, what now? Detention, yes, Emily. So detention comes from the word detain, just as retention comes from the word retain. Okay. Tenacious. What do you think about sentences with tenacious in them? So those of you that haven't done the quiz yet, make sure you finish that for me. Haven't got answers from everyone there. So can you give me a sentence that has tenacious in it, guys? Careful about your spelling. She was tenacious about her idea, yeah. Sometimes people may be seen as too tenacious, so they just won't give up even when everyone wants them to. Okay, all right, we have not got too long left now, so let's, actually, I don't want to go into that one yet. Oh, I wanted to teach you, oh, sorry guys. I wanted to teach you the meaning of meticulous. Let's just talk about that quickly. And I have a picture to illustrate it. What do you think meticulous could mean, based perhaps on this picture? Precise, yes. Very careful, good. Perfection, yes, he's looking for perfection. So can you write down, now there isn't a space on your sheet to do this, so can you just write it in some of the blank space? Meticulous, and the spelling is there on the board for you. Meticulous means taking great care over small details. Taking great care over small details. You are going to need to remember that for the closed test that's coming up. So taking great care over small details. Okay, written it there on the board for you if you want to copy it down. So he is being meticulous about his lawn. Okay, so that's meticulous, taking great care over small details. And I think the others you will know. Now, I asked you to look out for a word. When you were listening to the lyric video of Be Prepared, I asked you to look out for a particular word. Can someone put up their hand? Yes, it was C-O-U-P. Can someone put up their hand and tell us how to say that word, please? Kai, could you unmute someone that can tell us, please?
Yes, I've unmuted.
Who's there? Try and say the word.
Moffey.
Moffey, can you say the word for me, please?
Coup.
Coup, yes, he said the word coup in the video. So coup has two meanings. The meaning I think that Scar is referring to here is what we call a coup, or to give it its full name, a coup d'etat. It's French, but we use that phrase in English. People are chatting, can anyone tell me what it means? No, you can't. Okay, so it's coup. The P is silent. And a coup is a violent overthrow of the government. So you get rid of the president, the prime minister, the king, with some sort of violent action. So in some countries, a while ago, there was a president that had been president for about 40 years or something like that, and he was very cruel. And eventually there was a coup, so they got rid of him, and everyone kind of ganged up on him, and they got rid of him. So that is what Scar is trying to achieve in The Lion King. So he wants to get rid of the current king so that he can take over. A coup can also mean a great achievement, by the way. So if you manage to do something that not many people can do, someone might say that is quite the coup. Okay, you are going to need that for your closed test. It's activity 5. So I've made the quiz available just now. So can you please fill in the words for activity 5, and then we will go over it. This is going to be our last activity for the day. Okay, so remember with a closed test like this, sometimes it's easier to fill in the ones that you know and then go back to fill in the ones that you didn't know. So you don't have to give a final answer straight away. Okay, so looking at your sheets, please, the one that says activity 5, closed test. Scar needs the hyenas to pay attention because he wants them to retain the information he gives. Most of you got that right, so well done. Or actually, half of you got that right, looking at the percentage. So he wants them to retain the information. He wants them to keep it in their minds, keep hold of it in their minds, retain. Okay, the hyenas in the film have a limited attention span. Don't worry about typing these answers in, guys, because I can see your answers from the quiz. Yeah, quite a few of you got that. So most of you actually got span. So the width of their attention is not very big. Sorry, guys, I don't know who that is, but whoever just unmuted, there's an echo there. So retain and span are our first couple of answers. Scar thinks, oh, sorry, there's a typo there. It says Scar thinks they hyenas. So say Scar thinks the hyenas may have the potential to help him. So they have the ability to do it, even though they're not that bright, but he thinks they could perhaps in future manage it. So even though they seem quite dim, which means not very bright, not very smart. Scar describes himself as tenacious. Mute, please, guys. Tenacious, because he has held on to this idea for a long time. He's been planning this for a long time, even when he seemed unlikely to succeed. So some people put meticulous there. He is meticulous as well. And in the song, he talks about meticulous planning. But our clue that the answer is tenacious is that it says he's been planning this for a long time, even when he seemed unlikely to succeed. So when it seems unlikely, then he's still held on to that idea. He's been tenacious. Hey, the hyenas were not very good at hunting, so eating scraps became their only form of sustenance. So our base word there is sustain. So the only thing that keeps them going, that holds them up, is eating scraps of food. So that's their sustenance. Okay, make sure you've got those written down. And then after months of meticulous planning, he has thought about every detail. Meticulous planning. So remember, meticulous is like that man that's measuring his grass and cutting it like that. So that's what Scar has been like with his plan. He's been ever so careful with it. After months of meticulous planning, Scar is finally ready to enact his plan. Okay. A king must have the respect of his subjects so that he can maintain order. Maintain. Make sure you're getting the spellings right as well. Okay. Don't worry about activity 2 there. Just concentrate on getting these answers down for me. Okay. Scar's position as king became untenable. So he couldn't hold on to his position anymore once they found out that he tried to kill Simba. You can't continue as a king, usually, when you've tried to kill the first king. So his position was untenable. He wasn't allowed to hold it anymore. Okay, once the hyenas had agreed to aid Scar with his plan, aid means help, he was able to go on with it. So he was able to proceed. Not many people got that one. So he was able to continue with it, to go on, proceed. Remember, pro means forward and seed means go. Okay, and if you misbehave at school, they might detain you. This is called detention. They might detain you and keep you in detention, the act of being detained. The rest of you, if you don't want to take part in the contest, then that's okay too, because we are going to see your scores and I'm going to try and have a leaderboard each week. So here's the link to the contest. The winner gets glory, Farida, glory and pride. So click on that link there if you want to take part in the contest, and I will start it in a second. Okay, bye the rest of you that don't want to compete. Well done, you've worked hard today. Good hour of vocab, so
Bye.
later, bye-bye.